What's going on, everybody? Dylan Manfre on hand for the Sport Profile with a solo episode this week. That's right, there's no guest, it's just me. So, do I say Dylan Manfre? Welcome to the Sport Profile. Yeah, I'm going to keep that in just because it feels natural, I guess. But this is my, I guess, technically second solo episode in this second iteration of the Sport Profile. I did a little short introduction back in July when I started it to reintroduce myself a little bit, but I didn't really have an idea about what this was going to become again back then, but now I do. So, hey, how are you? It's been a wild rest of the year since I started this thing back up again in July. There's been a lot happening. I've really been surprised at the fact that I've been able to do 2 episodes a week consistently since July. I really had no expectations, but to know that there are so many of you who are interested in coming on and wanting to share your authentic stories is amazing. That makes me so incredibly happy because that's just really what I love to do. I love telling authentic stories about the people we see and read and watch every single day, but don't always get to know as people. What do I mean by that? People know Madeline Kenny for covering the New York Liberty. We've seen her tweeting about the ongoing CBA negotiations in the WNBA. We've seen her tweet about and write about the New York Liberty's head coaching search, which is now over. But did you also know that she's an incredible sneaker collector? Or that her favorite candy to have on game day are gummy bears? No favorite color, by the way. Likes them all. Me, I'm partial to the red, but that's just me. I'm also partial to like the blue M&Ms. I think those are a really good game day snack. Or whenever like you're working, I think the blue M&Ms specifically. But I digress. 2025 was a very interesting year. And this episode's going to be a little bit of like a 2025 year in review. For me personally, I never really got into it. And I think it's important that I do because it's part of my authentic story. It's part of why I started the Sport Profile again. And when I started this thing up again in July, it was a real turning point for me in the year. Now, to understand that, we got to go back a little bit further. We got to go back really to July of last year to get to where we are now. In July of last year, I was laid off by Sportico. It was my first professional job out of school. It wasn't just me that was laid off, it was a bunch of others. That sent me into a very interesting place in my life. I didn't really know what to do. Shortly after, I got super sick. And I was battling walking bronchitis from November of last year to like February of 2025. Sucked. It was not great. Thankfully, I'm better now. I'm thriving now. I have my energy levels back. I have my endurance back. And we're trying to get back into that gym routine that I desperately want to do again. Maybe I'll be one of those guys that goes into the gym January 1 just to see what the vibe is like. But knowing myself, I'm going to do my best to try to be as consistent as possible. And look, if I can't, I have no expectations. But maybe I should go in January 1 just for the hell of it. I think it'll be a good time. It'll be a very interesting time. But I've described 2025 so far as the best, worst year ever. What do I mean by that? When I say it's the best, worst year ever, you know how people say everything that can go wrong will go wrong? I've kind of taken that and flipped it a little bit. It was half bad and half good, 2025 for me. It was the worst year, but also the best, oddly. And that's really weird to say. So, to what I was saying before, in January, my grandpa passed away. Joel Prefer. He was 90 years old. He passed away of Alzheimer's and dementia. And he was one of my best friends. I didn't think I never really thought it was going to happen, to be quite honest with you. He was in a memory care facility, receiving care. However, when I would go there, sometimes he just wouldn't talk. Sometimes it was hard for him to kind of string sentences together, but I felt I was always the one to get him to talk. And I talked to him like a regular adult, like I'd do to anybody else. You know, I would tell him about the drama going on in my life and just talk to him as if this thing like didn't exist. And by the way, when people say it's harder on the family than it is on the person, that is 100% true. For what it's worth, if any of my listeners have anybody in their life going through or know somebody who has dementia or Alzheimer's, reach out. We're stronger in numbers. Always better to have a support system. And I actually genuinely enjoy having those conversations with people. So he passed away in January at the age of 90. And that also was a very low point in my life when he passed. It was my last grandfather. Now I only have one grandparent left, which is odd to reckon with. But my grandma, I talk to her every day, call her around the same time every day. Sometimes she picks up, sometimes she doesn't. And if she doesn't pick up when I call her, she'll 9 times out of 10 call me later on in the day. But I say all that to illustrate how it's authentic to me. I don't sugarcoat anything. And the day I do is a dark day. You guys can hold me accountable to that. I do not sugarcoat anything, and I never want to, because that means I'm not being genuine and I'm not being authentic. That's my standard. That's the standard I bring to the sport profile every single day, and that's the standard I try to lead my life with. Losing my grandpa, on top of being sick, was putting me in a very tough place mentally. Also, at the time, I'm still trying to figure out, work and such. I had some part-time jobs. Some of those I still have now, which I'm very, very grateful for. But something was missing. That fullness, that one thing that I can dedicate my time to was missing. And as the months passed, applying for jobs always got more and more difficult. And by the way, I had the funniest job rejections ever. And if you don't believe me, reach out. We'll have a conversation about that too. I'll keep that one private just because I'm not going to out anybody, but I genuinely have the funniest ever. And it's been tough to find the humor, but I learned to. I learned to find the humor in the rejections because that's just the way I got through them. And that led us to June of this year, when I decided to really make a decision late June, early July to bring back the sport profile. My messaging had stayed the same. I wanted to tell the stories about the people we see and read every single day, but don't always know as people. And I believe I've done that. That's at least what I'm trying to do. But if you told me in July of 2025 that I would have a branded index card right here, I'd say you're crazy. I mean, look at this. It's kind of nice. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of fresh, kind of fly. You know me. But it's crazy to think that in January 2026, January 20th, I'm hosting an event, co-hosting with Coffee Communications, my dear, dear friend, Amanda Coffee. Shout out, Amanda Coffee. Love you. And to think that it has 3 incredible sponsors: Breakout Sports Broadcasting, Essentially Sports, and Mike Worldwide, which is a top tier PR agency. It's nuts to me. It's hard to comprehend, genuinely, because June, I hit a low. Like I said before, I had a sense that like something was missing, that fullness, that true fulfillment. And when people ask me like, oh, why'd you start the sport profile again? My answer is, I just got to a point where I wanted to do what I know how to do again, which is write, which is report, which is storytell, interview, create content. And it's so cool when people say like, oh my God, you're a content machine. You're putting so much stuff out. And it's like, sure, but what's the alternative? I know the answer to that question, but this is so much better. It's so much more productive. And this is what makes me feel truly fulfilled. And since July, I've seen so much mental health success or growth rather. And that's super important to me. If anybody knows me, they know I'm a huge advocate for mental health, men's mental health specifically, because that is not talked about enough at all, and it should be. And disclaimer, if you're struggling, please get help. Reach out to me. My DMs are open. Anybody can reach out to me at any time, and I will absolutely talk with you without question. Now, again, obviously, I am not a mental health professional. And if you do need that professional help, I encourage you to seek it. There are options out there for you. And I think there are more options now than ever before. I go to therapy too. It's helped me. I have a great therapist. I have a great support system. And I'm truly, truly blessed with that every single day. I'm still working on this all the time as well. But it's possible. It's possible to get help, to get on that right path, to do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself. But the sport profile for me is almost a form of therapy. I love doing it. I love having these casual conversations. When I interview people, I try to make it seem like I'm your friend. Try to have a laugh. Try to have that sarcastic banter, always with a smile, something like that. It just makes things so lighthearted because we are more than our work. And that's something I'm a huge proponent of. Yeah, we see all these people that I'm interviewing on the show for their work, but they're more than that. They're so much more than that. Who knew Madeline Kenny's favorite candy was gummy bears? Or that she has a great shoe collection? That Chapel Fowler was named after Chapel Hill, North Carolina? Or that Madison Hershik is so incredibly passionate about cancer research after the loss of her father. May his memory be a blessing. You know, there's so much to these people that I genuinely want to get to know. Another example is Alex Sherman, CNBC. Him and I have a shared love of Hoagie Haven and Princeton. Shout out Hoagie Haven. Their Sanchez sandwiches are phenomenal, chef's kiss. But there's so much about these people that you wouldn't know otherwise. And the conversations that I have are really inspiring to me. And I hope they are for you too, because my goal is to help you guys get 1% closer. Now, if you see something about John O'Hurley on TV, host of the National Dog Show, you also may think of him as the voice of, I think it was Roger Doofenshmirtz on Phineas and Ferb. And when he said to me, Phineas and Ferb is Seinfeld for kids, I really had to think about that one for a second. As somebody who loves both shows, I really had to think about that one. I also didn't realize that, like, the breadth of his acting career, right? And for those of you who are going to come at me, yes, the National Dog Show is a sport. It's an incredible tradition on Thanksgiving. So there will be no slander. Also, with Trey Ryder and the American Cornhole League, you know, yeah, you see him on the broadcast, but I had no idea that his love for the sport dates back to even high school. I mean, it's incredible, these people's stories. And that's what I love to get at when I do this. And I guarantee there's going to be so many more in 2026. I'm super excited for it. I'm starting to book guests for January. This is going to release December 30th. So a very happy New Year to everybody, and a gigantic thank you to everybody who's listening. But we got some awesome stuff planned for 2026. The Sport Profile is having a live event in New York City, January 20th, partnered with Coffee Communications. We have more authentic stories to tell. We have more content to be made. There's going to be some new things that we're going to be announcing very, very soon. And I use the plural we, not because like we're a company. The Sport Profile is not an LLC yet. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. 2026 is right around the corner, so who knows what could happen. But this is a community. This is a community of people who love telling authentic stories and love actually getting to know people for who they are. That's something I've always loved doing. And that is something we will continue to do. So, thank you for listening. I'm not going to end with my usual question, which is, what do you like most or admire about yourself? That answer will come very, very soon. Just not now. I think you gotta wait a little bit more for that. Anyway, I hope you have an incredible new year. I hope you are staying safe. I hope you are enjoying a fresh start filled with blessings and family, food, friends, wherever you are. If you're a reporter, journalist, content creator, doing stuff around college football, whatever sporting event that is going on during the holidays, thank you. We see you. We love you. We appreciate you. And as always, stay authentic, stay genuine, and stay true to yourself. Peace.